Um, this is Fibbity Gibbets, June the 3rd. It's June the 3rd, 2025, Tuesday. So what I want to say in this short video, fairly short, is that the etiology or cause, the type of autism that is within the etiology or cause that of autism that is sensitive to noises, touches, changes, people movements, pressures, boundary trespasses, boundary encroachments. And the noises and touches would be trespassing touches, trespassing noises of other people. That type autism, whatever the cause, that type autism, which I will call again trespass sensitive autism. That autism is an autism of boundaries that are self-protective boundaries, including putting your fingers in your ears or putting on earmuffs or avoidance of boundaryless, uncaring, ignorant people, ignorant of boundary issues and avoidance of them, and people who, whether they're doing it deliberately or unwittingly or however they're doing it, if they're trespassing on you as an autistic, trespass sensitive person, by whatever they're smacking their lips, whistling, turning on their radio, multiple noises. Maybe they're just people who are working outside your window. They may be unwittingly trespassing you with their noises. They may be unwittingly encroaching on and trespassing your boundaries just by trying to flank you, by trying to walk behind you when you're trying to stay near the wall and not have people dart behind you or walk behind you if you're to that degree of boundary keeping. So I wanted to say that this kind of autism, whether it's because of triggered by childhood abuse or whatever it's triggered by, some people say genetics, but I don't see anything definitive on cause, just some correlations that people mention, which are questionable. And they can make a lot of correlations. But whatever the cause is, it is about trespasses and response. It's not a reaction. That is an assumption. There are a lot of assumptions, like people putting their fingers in their ears to self-soothe. Really? It's to block the noise. It's not to soothe. And other thing, like making one's own white noise to soothe. No, it's also to block trespassing noise, just like the fingers in the ears. So it is a fact that regardless of the cause, that whatever the root etiology is, this is a type of autism, trespass sensitive autism, whether you want to call it that or not. Some people are calling it misophonia and some other things, and they have a very poor understanding. I haven't heard one video yet that understands. They're puzzled. It's a mystery. They're exploring. They don't quite understand, and whether it's parents that are trying to puzzle and figure out, why does my child like some noises and doesn't like others, and what's that noise you like, son, daughter, whatever. um, oh yeah, I like that. Uh-huh. And what's that one you don't like? Yeah. And people who are supposedly experts but not really, they have some credentials, but that doesn't mean they're experts. Talking about, they fall back on, well, if you've met one autistic person, you've met another. Well, screw that. It's trespass sensitive autism, meaning, and let me explain, that there is a difference in how an autistic person or a trespass sensitive person, autistic or not, but especially autistic, how they respond to uh, an uninvited, unwanted, unwelcomed noise that they feel is a violating noise that's going into their ears and into their senses and into their mind and into their psyche, into their spirit, that they don't want, and a wanted noise where they enjoy playing their own piano. They enjoy their own songs that they, on their own volition and by their own will, uh, search and seek, and so these are not contradictions. The difference is whether a noise is trespassing and crossing across one's boundaries, and where it's not welcome and not wanted and uninvited and violating, or welcomed, invited, wanted, and embraced. That's the difference. You don't see that on any autism tests. I haven't seen it on anything where they draw that distinction or have that nuance or that understanding on anything. Have seen almost no experts that understand this sort of thing. But people with autism are fending against trespassing noises and touches, and they arch their back at an unwanted touch, an unwanted manhandling, or even an unwanted pat, an uninvited touch, pat, molestation, grabbing, grasping, shocking, that school that shocks autistic people. Well, that is trespassing on the autistic person. In fact, to shock someone, as reported, who is plugging their ears to apparently to trespassing noise, and then to trespass on them with a shock, is abuse. Anyway, and trespassing and abusive. And so they're not just ignorant at that place. I can't remember the name of it, that shocks autistic people for such things as plugging their ears. That's abuse. This is June the 3rd, 2025. Autism is self-protective of boundaries of boundaries of self. And and I'll give you an example. When a person is doing a trespass noise, an unwanted, uninvited, unwelcomed noise that is violating a person that's hypersensitive to trespass, who is autistic, and they freeze, meaning that they stop talking, they stop responding, they're looking straight ahead. You can try to get in their face and they will look right through you, and they won't answer you, and they resist all your efforts to prompt and prod and threaten them to answer you, and you're smashing things that are their things as an abusive parent or whatever, or shocking them. That autistic person is responding to the trespass by a freeze, and God forbid anybody shock them. That would just be like Nazi evil, like Nazis. Yeah, that level of abuse, to shock a person who's in a trespass response freeze. But that is a autistic behavior, and they're waiting for the trespassing noise to stop before they unfreeze themselves, because they do not want that noise of another person to mix and mingle with their soul. They don't want to be doing something they're doing at the same time as some trespassing thing that is inside of them by extension of noise that is uninvited, unwelcomed, violating and trespassing, that's up in their senses and in their spirit, violating them. So they're stopping and waiting for it to stop and freezing until it stops before they unfreeze and resume what they're doing. That's an example. That's an explanation of a real autistic freeze that you probably won't get from anybody else. Probably hasn't been told by anybody else the way it really is until just now, except when I've told it, because that's what the real thing is. It's not all that other crap. It's not where the people are sleeping or withdrawing and unplugging and disengaging. That's not a freeze. That's not autistic. And exhaustion is not even a behavior, much less an autistic behavior. So all of that is counterfeit autism. All that exhaustion talk and high masking BS, that's counterfeit autism. But real autism is not acting, and it's not acting normal. Real autism is atypical, and it's not normal, and it's autistic. It's just not normal. It's misfit, ill-fitting. You don't fit in, as they want to claim. It's not about trying to be sociable. It's not about trying to be accepted or not rejected. It's about boundaries and self-protection, not about having friends and fitting in and being accepted and not being rejected. It's about fending off trespass. Get that? That's what it's about. That's what autism is about. At least the kind where you're sensitive to trespassing, noises, touches, demands, pressures, people. Thank you very much. Fibbity Gibbets. June 3rd, 2025.